Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners, and hi to any newbies. It's so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while, and if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So it's time for my crafty catch up for the week. Now there isn't loads, but there is some. So let's get to showing you what I have been up to. So if you've been here a little while, you will know that my spinny selection number 3 were to do Temu kits that I currently have in my possession. At the time, I made the decision to do both the kits that I had at that point. And then if you've seen my recent Temu craft haul, you will know that I did get a third kit in that haul, and it's Halloween themed. And I said that I would get I would add that third kit to the other two that I am currently working through. So I decided to go ahead this past week and get going with the Halloween kit. So I have done all of the crochet elements, but I haven't put them on the keychains or anything yet. The yarn in here was okay. Is it the best of the best? No. But is it the worst of the worst? No. My biggest criticism is that it is a little bit splitty. In fact, a lot splitty. But it's okay. I did not use the hook that came with the kit purely because I am more comfortable using my favourite tools that I use all the time. I will show you everything that I had left over as well. Let me just get it all out for you. I should have done this before I clicked the camera on. Apologies. And I have decided to minimise some of the sewing with this kit, and I will be getting out my glue gun. So it came with its own hook in here, but I decided to use my own 2.5. So this is my 2.5mm dots. And then inside of this kit, we were to make 2 ghosties. One with the black hat, one with the orange hat, and 2 pumpkins. Now, like I said, the crocheting part of this is done. It's just the assembly now. So I still have this much of the green. So this will probably get turned into crocheted hearts. I've still got this smidgy bit of the pink. Still got quite a bit of black. I still have this much orange, but this was a much bigger ball. And I still have this much of the white. So there was more than enough yarn, guys. And I still have this much stuffing. Now, when you last saw this, this was vacuum packed. It was flat. So the fact that I have stuffed all of my little amigurumis and I still have that bit there, I'm just going to add this to my other polyfill that I've got, my other stuffing I've got. And like I said, I will use these scraps up in other little projects. As I showed you, that is what we were meant to make. And then I will attach them to the keychains and things when I get my glue gun out. And I haven't managed to get that far just yet. But let me show you, first of all, the 2 cute little pumpkins. Now, I went slightly rogue on these guys. I followed the pattern. I did it, you know, how they wanted me to do it. However, to assemble them and stuff them and sew them up, I used the same technique that I use for the other pumpkins I am currently making, which is the other thing that I'm going to show you today. And I used what I had learned making those pumpkins to make these. Now, they are super itty bitty, they are super cute, and actually, even though the pattern wasn't amazing, I was able to do it or fudge it or interpret it to make what was meant to be made. And I absolutely love how they made the stalk and the curlicue. This is not separate. The stalk and the curlicue are all one piece, and I love that technique. So if ever I'm going to be making pumpkins with stems and curlicues, I'm going to do it this way, because it is easy enough and it's super cute and it has a really lovely effect. And then it just means that you just have to sew around the base of the stalk. That's it. So the two cute little pumpkins, and then the ghosties. Now, these are a little bit wonky. Again, Manfa had to use her artistic license a little bit. Annoyingly for me, the frill on these ghosties on the pattern is much more pronounced, much more ruffly, much more frilly. But either I'm not reading the instructions right, or the instructions aren't accurate to create that, because the frill on the bottom of my ghosts is not quite so impressive, but it still works. I also used my experience in making amigurumi to modify how I put their little ghosty hands on. I didn't follow the directions for that. I just did it my way. And here they are. Now, I can't decide whether where I've placed the faces, the hands make them look like they've got ears. But you can tell that they are ghosts. But do you see what I mean about the little lackluster frill? It's just a little meh. But these are only going to be keychains, guys. It's not one of those projects that has to be perfect. They're still cute. They're still little ghosties. And I managed to get them done. And then I managed to get the two different hats done as well. Bear with me a second. Here they are, the little witches or wizards hats. So like I said, rather than sew these on, I was gonna say cheat. It's not cheating. I am gonna use the alternative method of hot gluing the hats onto the ghosties, because it will save me time and I won't have the frustration of the sewing to contend with. So there we go, my little spooky ghosties for Halloween. And they each have their own pumpkin. So there we go, two keychains pretty much done and dusted. Like I said, I will glue the bits and bobs on and I will put the keychains on, but I have completed the kit. So now I have to go back to the two original kits and finish the amigurumi makes in those. I think I still have a zebra, a lion and a giraffe to make. So I'm working my way through them, guys. Hopefully soon we will be able to do Spinny Selection number 4. Who knows? It just depends on time and my want to make them, to be perfectly honest with you. But I think they turned out cute enough. Are they the bestest things ever that I have made? No, but that's okay. It's all right. I enjoyed it. A little bit of spooky season in the Manfa household because I haven't done anything Halloween-y apart from this. So, you know, and that is a kit almost complete, and it was an extra kit that I added on. It wasn't supposed to be a part of it, but I did that to myself and I stuck to my word. So there we go, all of it has been stuffed back in the kit bag. Now, the only other things that I've got to show you guys are yet more pumpkins. If you watched last week's Crafty Catch Up, you will remember that I have gone on a bit of a side quest where I am wanting to make one of the small wheat stitch pumpkins from Brianna Kay. I want to make one each for all of my work colleagues as just a little seasonal token. a lot of you really liked that idea, thought that it was kind and sweet and things like that. I'm just doing it because I am addicted to making pattern. I think it's really super cute. And what better way to share the love of my craft than sharing it with people that I see more than my family? Now, when you word it like that, it packs a punch, doesn't it? So I told you that I had 40 to make. I, in fact, do not have 40 to make because what I didn't consider is I am one of the 40. And also there is one member of staff who is currently off on maternity leave. So she is not going to be around to select a pumpkin. So in actual fact, guys, I only have 38 to make. And I believe I have now done 8 of them. My mannequin, just off camera here, Wibbly Wobbly Wendy, she is now sporting this gorgeous flamingo bag where I am putting the completed pumpkins. So in here are all of the pumpkins you have already seen, and there are 5 in here. So just as a recap, pinky purples, purple, blue, yellow, green, gorgeous. Yellow, orange, green, blue. And then another yellowy, orangey, pinky, purpley. And then I managed to get one out of the other cake colourway. And this is blues, purples, and this kind of, I don't really know what you would call that colour. It looks brown on camera. It's like a purpley brown. But those are the ones that you have seen before. So we'll put those back over here. And I will show you the new ones that I made this week. So let's refresh our memories. To make these pumpkins, I am using my 4.5mm dots. And I am, of course, using the pattern from Brianna K Designs. I will link this pattern down in the description box. It is a paid for pattern, but you do get the pattern for the trio. Hang on 1 second. I do apologise. Clearly a fuzzy went up my nose. But you do get the trio, so you get the large, the medium and the small. I am making the small ones because they're quicker. And then I am using cinnamon sticks and then some raffia ribbon to tie a cute bow on the top of mine. Like I said, it is a paid for pattern, but it is totally worth it. I am so addicted to making these. So if you're interested, check out the pattern link that I have got in the description box. But like I said, only do so if you have the funds and the means to purchase. And we were working through that second Fairyland cake, weren't we? Well, I can tell you that I have successfully used it all. So here's the yarn band that I can claim. And here are... So it was slightly strange, guys. I haven't used any of the yarn from these cakes. And with that first pastel-y cake, I managed to get 4 pumpkins and still have a smidgy bit left over to do a pair of crochet hearts. With the second cake, I couldn't even get enough yarn to complete 4 pumpkins, let alone anything else. So, bit strange, but then they do say that it's approximate yardage. It isn't the same for all of them. So, there we go. So, I have another 3 beauties to share with you today. Bit wonk because they've been shoved in my other project bag. So there's some more of that purpley brown into blues, yellows. This is really autumnal, this one. Like I said, with the raffia bow and the cinnamon stick on the top. And then here is the next one. More of the browns and the yellows. Little bit of green and blue on that one. So they are all completely different so far. And then like I was saying, I didn't have quite enough yarn because when we get to this section here, this is a bit of the yarn from the next cake that I am going to be making these pumpkins from. Excuse me for just 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. I am back. So, like I was saying, this little bit here, I had to take from the next planned cake that I plan to use. This is Yarn Smith's Pebble Haze Prince DK. You can get this from the Wool Warehouse. Some of you that have been here a while will recognise this from my fairy dust blanket that I made last year. This year? Last year. This year. Okay. So this is the next cake. So this is all yellows and reds and oranges, bit more traditional pumpkin colours, just so that, you know, my colleagues do have a more traditional pumpkin colourway to choose from should they wish. But I did have to steal a little bit just to complete this third one this week. So there we go. Another 3 pumpkins to add to my collection. So I will get the flamingo bag and I will pop those other 3 in. So we are up to 8, only 30 more to go. Oh, why do I do these things to myself? I do not know, guys. It's just a side quest that I feel that I need to complete. So we're going to. And as long as they're done before, you know, October, November is up, then all will be good, because around December time, we're all starting to think about Christmas. I mean, I'm already starting to think about Christmas, but a pumpkin isn't really suitable past November, I don't think, in my opinion. Thanksgiving isn't a thing here in the UK, so really by November, it's all about Christmas. So if I can try and get them done by the end of October, brilliant. If it takes me a bit longer, so be it. But I definitely want them done by the end of November so that, you know, it's not too weird when we're all expecting Christmassy themed items. So this week, hopefully, I will be able to create some more out of this gorgeousness. Like I said, you can get it from the Wool Warehouse. It's 67% cotton, 33 acrylic. There is a bit of a fuzzy halo on it. It's one of those blown yarns. It's a 150 gram cake or 5.25 ounces. There are 435 meters or 476 yards. Cool wash up to 30 degrees. Cool iron, cool tumble dry. Do not bleach. Dry clean using P. But they're going to be little amigurumis, so they won't be washing them anyway. 4mm hooks and needles, but I'm using a 4.5 and it's fine. Shade 2D070. They do have names on the website. Yeah, don't know where they're produced because it just says manufactured under license for Wool Warehouse. But there we go. This one's got, what was it, 476 yards. These little ones only had 245 meters, so about 250 yards. So if I could get 3-4 out of these, I reckon I can get about 7 out of this one. Who knows? Let's do a little experiment. Why don't you guess? How many am I going to get out of this cake? Do you think I'm right by saying about 7? Or do you think I'm being ambitious and it will be less? Or do you think I might actually get more of them? Let's have a little game. Let me know what you think down in the comments. So yes, this is the next cake that I am going to be working with to make more of those pumpkins. Like I said, absolutely obsessed, loving it. I have seen, and if you're not familiar with Brianna Kay, she does have a YouTube. I'm pretty sure most of you will be familiar because she's quite a large channel. She has a huge pattern wealth as well, whether it be Ravelry, Etsy, her blog, her channel with tutorials on it. So I will link her YouTube channel as well. I will link that specific pattern. But she is coming out with more and more wheat stitch themed items because the wheat stitch has actually gone viral, I think, more than once in the last few months. So the wheat stitch really is a hot stitch at the moment. She's just released a blanket, a chevron wheat stitch blanket, which looks gorgeous. She has a beanie, all sorts of things, but she's got a lot more than just the wheat stitch as well. So go check her out, go give her some love if you don't already. Yeah, check out the pattern if you want it. I'll let you know where you can get it in the description. And that, guys, literally is it. I did a couple of ghosties and 3 pumpkins. Well, 5 if you include the tiny little pumpkins for the ghosties. So, oh, and a couple of witch hats. But tiny makes, not a lot of makes, because I did have to get my 40 pairs of charity crochet hearts done as well. So that was the majority of the hearts that I've done this week, the Halloween amigurumi kit, and 3 more pumpkins for my colleagues. So when I say it like that, that's still quite a bit of crochet, considering I only get about an hour or 2 an evening. I do get a little bit more on weekends, but it just depends how busy our weekends are and if we have plans. So I am trying to utilise my time to the best, but it doesn't always mean that I have loads and loads of things to show. But it's still an update for you, and it's still, 20 minutes plus of a video for you. So there we are. Please enjoy the weekend coming up. I don't know what you've all got planned, but I hope it's fun. And if it's not fun, then I hope you get whatever you need to get done, and that you will get some awesome crafting time in at some point. I have no idea what my weekend has in store, because as I've said, while I'm filming this, it's last weekend. And last weekend, in between filming these videos for this week, I cleaned the house and got a few chores done. And then I think at some point, either later on today, which is the Saturday, or tomorrow, Sunday, I'm going to do a bit of baking, make some yummy stuff for the family. It's supposed to be the weekend that we go to my mum and dad's, but they have only just got back from a week away in Ireland with my auntie and uncle. So they asked if we could skip this one because, they've had travels and are tired, and it's a lot when you've only not even been back 24 hours. So we are having a bonus weekend at home. So yeah, a bit of baking, bit of time with the fam, bit of crochet, hopefully. That was last weekend. This weekend coming up, I have no idea. A couple of my boys will go with their dad, and I don't think there are plans as yet, but it could all change. Who knows? I could be sat here a big old fibber, because like I said, this is last weekend for me, but for you it's Friday, and things might have been arranged in this week. So I don't know. I'm sure I'll fill you in at some point though. I am starting to feel better. Still not 100%. I mean, the sneezing fit just now is proof of that, but I am much better than I was. So hopefully heading in the right direction, and I'm not feeling as gross and horrible and sick as I did. So that is a plus point, and thank you for everyone for your love and concern, with your well wishes and stuff. Max is also much better, so we are heading in the right direction. Although my middle boy Liam, he now has the virus that I had, and I think Mike's daughter is getting it as well, so it's still going to be doing the rounds, and it could come back. I hope it doesn't. And also, guys, you've got to remember that I work in a school and I still have kids that attend school. So there are probably going to be a lot of viruses and a lot of bugs floating around my world. So it won't shock me if, I'm going to be on and off with viruses and colds for the whole winter season. I normally am. But that's okay. I'll keep powering through. I'm not going to let you guys down. Anyway, I am going to get going because this laptop is going to throw a hissy fit in a minute. So let's go while the going is good. Like I said, have a fabulous weekend. I will, of course, be back next week with my regular videos on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So I can't wait until then. But in the meantime, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting time in. I will see you in the next one, or around the YouTube streets. Bye, guys. Love you loads.